What's happening, Toysnappers? We got a double plastic action one for you today. So I got Batman minus Earth 44 and Batman Earth negative 32, the Dawnbreaker and the Murder Machine. Two iterations of evil Batman from the Dark Multiverse brought over in the Dark Knight's Metal storyline. And I'll switch these around just so you can see the backs of the box art. And these would be different issue variants from... They all got their own single one-shots when the story was been released. So Dawnbreaker got his own single one-shot to just give his backstory. So did Murder Machine, and I think they went with those covers for the box art. And so you can see, they're really cool. And then you can see down here below is other figures from the Mcfarlane line. And as usual, just the standard Mcfarlane packaging, black box art, and the big blue window showing off the figure. So, enough dilly-dallying around with the figures in the box. Let's get the two of them open and we'll review them. Alright, and here are the two boys out of the box and in front of us now. So we'll start off with Dawnbreaker, the Green Lantern of Earth negative 32. So this evil iteration of Batman was if Batman himself was given a Green Lantern ring, and in the story he's actually able to overpower the ring's no-killing protocol with his sheer willpower, and then thus corrupting the ring and corrupting Batman even more. He goes on to kill the whole Lantern Corps and basically just mess shit up on his Earth. So he actually does come with an accessory of willpower projection slashed with like nightmare fuel. So obviously, because it's Batman, it's like a green bat. It's really detailed. It just wraps around his arm, but I will show you that after. And he comes with obviously his bio card up there if anyone wants to read it. And he comes with a flight stand. We haven't got a flight stand off Mcfarlane in a while. So first impressions, the design is really cool on the figure itself. All the cool little small Green Lantern bits. Kind of like nearly a steampunk kind of vibe to them. I did always like the style of Murder Machine. It was a real gaunt, skinny version of Batman, and yeah, I always loved this grimace that he has of the kind of, not a cleft upper lip, but kind of scarring damage. The goggles. You have these power thingies that go around this to his chest and shoulders, and yeah, it's just a cool design figure. Cool design of a character, and then you've obviously got the Green Lantern Corps symbol overlapping the bat symbol, which are both separately sculpted on, which is always a nice touch. Moving down, he's got no more bat utility belt because he doesn't need it, because he's got a fancy ring. He's got his boots, and speaking of the ring, it's not actually painted, so you can't really see it, so I might have to paint it if I can get the same colour as that and paint it and stink out a bit more. But yeah, design features first off are really cool. There's nothing standing out to me paint app wise other than the ring being coloured the same colour as the hand. That I don't know if that's just a bit of blemish paint. Yeah, I think that's just a small bit of blemish on the paint itself. But other than that, the figure's pretty solid. Articulation wise, it is the standard Mcfarlane articulation. This guy has those extra little joints in at his shoulders, but you can't really see them. The rotation upwards is hindered by this whole rubber shoulder gauntlet, pauldron thingy, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It is hindered reaching up, and it's hindered for reaching out. So I know as a Green Lantern, they love to point their rings forward. That is actually quite a hard position to achieve with a straight arm, with this getting in the way. He's got the usual waist rotation. He has double jointed elbows as well. He's got the rotation little ball joint in the wrist. The head is on a swivel, but the tubes kind of hinder looking back, not too much. Not as much as you think they would. It's always got the hips, like Mcfarlane always does, with the slight rotation up the top, not too mad. It's the double jointed knees as usual, and he's got the little ball swivel for the ankles. And of course, wouldn't be a Mcfarlane figure without some toe articulation that is actually quite stiff right now. Ooh, there we go. So just a bit painted in. So yeah, it is a cool figure. Mcfarlane seem to be doing really well with this whole Dark Knights metal line. So far I haven't had a problem with any of the figures that I've gotten. They've all been really cool designs, good paint apps. Articulation is a standard for Mcfarlane. It's getting better than what it used to be. And he can stand himself up fine, which is always a plus, because I hate figures who cannot stand up. So we will move on to the Murder Machine next. So this is Batman of Earth -44. And he is what happens when Batman goes a bit crazy and gets a cyborg to design a AI program of a dead Alfred, and the AI program goes a bit crazy, takes over Cyborg and Batman, and this is what you get, a resulting nightmare of nanoparts and Batman. So I really love the design of this. He comes with an extra hand attachment for, I presume, like tendrils for hooking up into computer systems and stuff like that. And he has his little bio card as well that I will flip over if anyone wants to read it now. Now, once it focuses, and there you go. So, the figure itself, of one issue, and it's straight off the bat, and I'm sure everyone can see it now looking right at it, is this bat symbol. It's slightly off center, and good lord, that's going to annoy me so much. But other than that, we'll just have a look at the figure. So, he's got this like metallic robotic design just all over, with the lines coming down. There's kind of a texture itself to the plastic, so you know it's kind of like a tech suit. Has all these lines the whole way down. It's really cool. And the back as well, you can see, ooh, so this is a really nice touch. You can see the spinal column, which obviously is kind of nanoed and roboticized, and he's got the shoulder pauldrons on the top. The head sculpt is really cool. So where you would have a mouthpiece, there's just one solid piece of what we would presume to be metal. His eyes are a lovely glowing red. Now I don't know if it's just my figure, but the points in this ears are a bit curled in. But I'm sure it can be fixed with hot water. And yeah, that is really annoying me, is that bat symbol is slightly off. God damn it. And the piece itself is kind of sculpted into the figure, so it's not a case that I could just pop it off, I don't think. But overlooking that, the design of the figure is fairly on point for what Murder Machine looked like in the comics. In the comics, like, all these blue bits would have been lighting up, his chest symbols lighting up, and the shoulder pauldrons would be lighting up. And as the articulation goes, it's standard Mcfarlane as usual. The pauldrons are kind of on like a little rubberized bit, so they don't actually mess up reaching around too much. You can reach up high, but I mean, it's going to look a bit silly. And they sit back down, but you get a good 90 degree in the shoulder without hindering too much or messing with the shoulder pauldrons. The head is on a swivel of sorts. It allows for a good look down, look side to side, but looking up is kind of a no-go. The midsection articulation is quite stiff here at the chest, and I would say that is due to all these fancy little designs. I can actually feel this piece here getting stuck on the back, so you can see he can crunch back here, the lower back a lot, but the upper, it's not much, and it's hindered due to this design. But he still has a fair range of motion, and as you can see, that's how it's accommodated for this little lip here. The hips is again the standard Mcfarlane hips with like minimal thigh rotation, and he's got the double jointed knees along with the double jointed elbows as usual, and he's got the little ankle pivots along with the toe tick. And here are the two lads with their accessories on their hands. So you've got the Murder Machine's freaky looking tendrils, looking very Japanese anime, I won't say anymore. And then we've got the Dawnbreaker's like ring construct, which I think is really cool. If you catch it right with some green lasers, it makes for some nice shots and toy photography. So I decided to review these two figures together because, like, at the end of the day, they're the same articulation, they're the same kind of design. They just have a few different, like, obvious design features. I just didn't think it was worth it doing two separate videos for both of them. So all in all, they're awesome figures. They're Mcfarlane standard so far, what we've had. They've all been good. These, I can't find any problems. The only problem is that emblem on the Murder Machine is slightly twisted off, but that could be just a QC issue. I don't know if other figures are like that, so I won't hold it against Todd this time. But yeah, if you're interested in the Dark Knight's metal and you want to collect the whole line, these are two you're going to want to definitely pick up. I hope you enjoyed the little review, and I'll see you on the next one.